Clear.
Love that intro. So proud of it. Welcome to the Gorekeeper channel. Welcome to my guest, That Phat Samurai Guy. He's awesome. Thank you so much for coming today. We're talking about Castle Freak 1995 versus Castle Freak 2020 and which one we think is better.
Oh, sorry. I'm still rocking out there. Sorry about that. I'm still feeling that badass, awesome, amazing intro. I'm pumped. I'm stoked. Get all the classics in there. I like it. Got the Scanner's head explosion.
I do.
It's just, you got to have it there because it's just too amazing.
Yeah, it's the best head explosion ever.
Better than Maniac? Or is Maniac kind of close but not as good?
Maniac's very close.
Okay. But yeah, I can't argue against that. Best head explosion of all time.
Yes.
You got Michael Ironside on the side. This is the movie Scanners we're talking about right now. Michael Ironside on the side, having an orgasm, right? As you do. Have an orgasm. Causes explosions. You get the, come on now. Come on. Keep up with me, chat. Well, thanks again for having me on your channel, my friend.
No problem. This is the first episode, hopefully many to come in the future, where we put original horror movies against their respective remakes.
Yes.
And you decided today you wanted to choose Castle Freak. So we're doing Castle Freak.
Yeah.
Castle Freak 95 is one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I absolutely love the original Castle Freak, so when the remake came out, I was pretty pumped, but also cautious. And I watched it today. It landed on Shudder, and we'll get into my thoughts on it a little bit later.
You never know, chat, or whoever's watching right now, the Gorekeeper Army, you never know. You know, Brandon at the end might he might love the remake. We'll see. He might think it's the greatest thing ever. We're going to get to it. We're going to leave some suspense. You know, we're going to leave some suspense. But yeah, Castle Freak 1995 is Stuart Gordon. I remember you saying before, Stuart Gordon has never made a bad movie.
Yeah, I stand by that.
You stand by that. Even his non-horror projects, have you seen those? Or are you just talking just the horror?
I would say just the horror. I haven't seen any of his non-horrors, no.
Okay. Is he your favorite director? Horror director?
I would say he's probably my top 5 directors, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Reanimator, Dolls. I mean, it's just too much fun with this guy, you know. A lot of people hate on Dagon.
I love Dagon.
Why do they hate on it? I mean, yeah, it's low budget, so yeah, the CGI is not great, but I mean, atmosphere is great. The atmosphere,
it's phenomenal,
and we do get some cool practical makeup effects too. Mm-hmm. So it's very eerie. It's violent. I don't know. It's just kind of like, there was a video game based, I think it came off of the Xbox. I don't know if it's Call of Cthulhu. I don't remember the name of it, but it was very similar. I remember seeing screenshots I remember seeing video footage of it back in the day, and it reminded me of Dagon. You're stuck in this old ran down town, with a lot of rain and the stuff, and you're basically kind of run into kind of a Cthulhu cult. They're looking for you, and I thought of Dagon, and it's just like, well, why people praise that video game, but they shit on Dagon? I'm like, really? I don't know. It's weird. I don't know why Dagon gets a lot of hate, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
I didn't watch Dagon for a long time. I think I watched it for the first time probably a little less than a year ago. I had always kind of avoided it because I didn't want to be let down and I
Right.
always heard not great things about it. And then I finally decided to watch it for myself, and I ended up loving it. And
Yeah.
the CGI, it is dated.
Yeah.
It wasn't the greatest, but there's very little CGI, I would say.
Right. Yes.
There's not a ton of it.
Which
and
is
it
a
was
good thing.
kind of used where it was needed to.
Yeah.
It didn't
yeah.
feel unnecessary. Like, if it seemed like it was stuff that they couldn't do practically, so it's like, well,
Right.
we'll
It makes
CGI
sense.
for it.
Yeah. But no, great atmosphere. But I enjoyed Dagon. But we're here to talk about Castle Freak.
Yeah.
No,
starring-
don't hate me. Don't hate me now.
Okay.
Okay. You know, we agree on things and sometimes we disagree, but it's all love, right? So don't hate me,
Yep.
okay? I won't be banished from the land.
No.
Well, okay, I'm safe. All right, as of right now. Okay. So if chat, whoever's watching right now, if you see me disappear and I just fall down like this, Brendan hit the button for the trap door, and then that's what happened. The old samurai's never to be seen again. But I don't know what it was. I saw the amazing artwork, makeup effects of the creature on the cover of Castle Freak, and I was like, oh man, I gotta watch this. When I saw it, this was like a long time ago, I kind of was like meh with it. I was just like, it was all right. It was like, yeah, the makeup effect was cool, but I wanted more gore. I wanted more action. I was probably not in the right mindset for it. This was like many years ago.
Right.
So I'm glad we're doing this today, so it gives me a chance to revisit it. And let me tell you something. I like this movie a lot more now.
Right.
A lot more
blast.
now than, and I'm sitting here like, what the hell was I thinking back then? Because I thought I was gonna have the same reaction that I did. Like this was like I'm talking like this was like 10, 15 years ago when I saw it the first time. But I was just like, what the hell was I talking about? I needed more gore. I was like, dude, there's gore in this movie. What the hell was I thinking back then? I mean, of course, you know how we are. You know, gore keeper, samurai guy. Of course, we always want more, but that's with everything. But there was enough gore and creature effects and practical effects in this movie that entertained me. The only issue I had with it, I want to hear your thoughts on it. The soundtrack. What did you think of the soundtrack? It was like okay at parts. Like it was okay at parts. It suited the movie. And then some other parts, it kind of felt a little bit too whimsical.
I was just gonna say that. I was literally just gonna say
Yeah.
that it was sometimes it was a little too whimsical for me.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I 100% agree with you on the soundtrack.
Okay,
Like, you
okay.
literally took the words right out of my mouth. That's like I was just gonna say that.
Okay. Not horrible. It's not horrible. It's
no.
just some parts it's good, and some parts it's like
It feels out of place at some
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my same problem with Jaws. Actually, I thought the whole soundtrack was too whimsical, other than the main theme. The rest of the soundtrack is like Pirates of the Caribbean music.
Oh,
and I
how
hate it.
dare you! It's John Williams. This is blasphemy. No, just kidding. It's all
It
good.
didn't fit the
It's all
movie.
good. I thought it was great.
But we're talking about Castle Freak.
Yeah, Castle Freak, and go ahead, sure, show my friend. We'll get into it, and I'll just pop in whenever. We can just talk about the plot and what you liked, didn't like, and I'll just jump in whenever.
So yeah, Castle Freak was made in 1995. Obviously, I believe it was an HBO release. I don't think it was theatrical.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Directed by Stuart Gordon, of course. Starring Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton, two of the best in horror history ever do horror movies. They're fantastic.
This movie's
about
5 stars. Barbara Crampton's in it, so it automatically gets 5 stars now.
Yeah. Barbara Crampton's great. I love her. She's fantastic. Jeffrey Combs is also one of my all-time favorites. So I mean, anything he's in, I'm gonna watch it basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it follows his family. The dad, Jeffrey Combs, is an alcoholic, and he gets into a car accident, which leaves his daughter blind. They inherit some kind of castle in Italy. I believe it was Italy.
Yeah.
And they go to it, and there's a freak there, essentially.
In the castle.
In the castle, hence the name Castle Freak. And shenanigans ensue. And I thought this comes from a short story by H.P. Lovecraft called The Outsider. And I have read that short story, and it's literally the shortest short story ever. It's probably like 8 pages long. It's not a very long short story, and it almost has nothing to do with anything about this movie.
Okay.
It's the short stories from the perspective of the freak. The only thing they really bring into this movie from the short story is the fact that he can't stand his own reflection. And so he smashes all the mirrors.
Okay.
Because he catches a glimpse of himself and realizes what he's become and smashes the mirrors. Otherwise, the rest of this movie is just kind of like, H.P. Lovecraft story.
Right.
It's the same with the remake, too. Like, obviously, the remake is not based on the short story either.
Right.
The remake is totally its own thing.
Right.
But I really love the first one, the 1995 version, just because the characters, while they're flawed, I feel like are likable and you want them to succeed.
Yes.
You know, you want them to be better people. You want the dad to not be an alcoholic. You want the wife to forgive her husband. You want the blind girl to be okay and feel comfortable where she's living. I mean, you want all these things for all these characters, and you really get kind of sucked into it, you know. And then as the movie progresses and the freak starts stalking the blind girl, you get that real sense of fear. Like, okay, you can put yourself in that position. Like, if I was blind and anybody who I didn't know, whether it's a castle freak or not, I'm gonna be like uncomfortable, you know, around, like, because I don't know them, and they're going around my bed and touching me and stuff, and I'm not gonna like that. So you can put yourself in her shoes very easily, even if you're not blind. You know, it's just like it's almost the fear of the dark, or the fear of the unknown, which is the root of all fears. You know, is the fear of the unknown. You know, so it really plays into that very well, I think. Some things I liked about the movie is the creature design of the freak.
Oh, it's the highlight.
Oh, it's great.
It's
half
good.
the time he is covered in that sheet. I wish there was a little bit more scenes without him wearing that bedcloth or whatever, you know?
Right.
I wish they would have just been like, here is this awesome makeup we did, and throw it in our faces. That's what I wanted. So I think that's my only really big complaint about the first one, is we didn't get to see the creep enough, or the freak enough.
I could see that. I actually kind of liked the suspense building with him not being revealed yet.
Yeah.
Because when he finally gets revealed, it makes sense why he's revealing himself, and then it's like, oh shit. Of course, we would love more of that. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But unlike the other movie that we're gonna get to, they do the complete opposite, which we're gonna get to in a little bit. Okay, sorry, I got a little.
I think the highlight of this movie is obviously, I think for anyone who's seen this, no one's gonna forget the nipple scene where the freak bites it off. I feel like that's a scene no one's ever gonna get out of their memory ever. And obviously the rooftop finale, is epic. Cool. The thunderstorm, the lightning, the rain coming down. They're on top of a castle roof. Jeffrey Combs redeems himself by sacrificing himself for his family. Yeah, and it's like, damn, and it's such an impactful ending. Cause it's like, he screwed up along the way multiple times, you know, like, but you could tell he was always trying, you know, like. Yeah. And then he would fall on his ass or fall on his face, and then he would be like, no, I need to be better again, you know? Right. And then he does this sacrifice for his family, you know, taking the freak and himself off the roof. And it's like, man, you know, like, he really... He redeems himself in that moment, and as a character, you know, and so you can, at the end of the movie, you're going to go like, well, he was a good guy. You know? He made mistakes, but he was a good guy. And just the way that looks... That's why I fell in love with the movie, was that rooftop finale. Yeah. When I was going into it, when I was first watching, I was like, yeah, this movie's okay. But then as soon as they got to that rooftop finale, I was like, okay. This looks like something I'd see on a boss level in a video game, like in Bloodborne or something, you know? Like, this is awesome.
Yeah, the rain. It's at night, and the rain's coming down, you got lightning, and it's great.
And the architecture of the castle as the background, you know, it's just such good stuff. And
spoilers, by the way. Sorry, whoever's watching. Sorry about that. Spoilers.
It came in '95. I don't think anyone's gonna be complaining about spoilers.
Just in case. Spoiler warning. Yeah. We're spoiling the shit out of the other one too.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
So if you don't want to get spoiled to the remake, stop pretty soon here, because we're gonna get out of that.
Stop don't watch it, and then come back.
So what are your kind of like mini thoughts on the first one?
So again, I really enjoyed it a lot more revisiting it after all these years. The castle was creepy, great atmosphere. I mean, no one wants to walk down the just look down the steps, right? You're going down the steps, you're looking down the steps, and there's nothing but darkness there, right? That's already unsettling. That's already like, I don't want to fucking go walk down there, man. You know what I mean? So, great atmosphere, creepy castle, great makeup effects for the creature. And again, like you said, great cast. And did you want to go into just a little bit of the whole twist of who the freak is and all that stuff? Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can do that,
Yeah, go for it.
So the freak...
Because in the beginning, I was like, "Why is this old lady whipping him and beating him? What is going on?" But yeah.
So if I remember right in the original, because I've seen the remake more recently, so that's a little bit more fresh in my memory.
Right.
But if I recall right, the freak is like, it's some sort of relative. I'm not sure exactly how they're related, but the family that moves into the castle is somehow related to the freak. This old lady, it was her son, I believe.
Yeah.
And realized, just treated him poorly.
Because he's a son from another woman.
Oh, okay.
Not her.
I missed that.
Yeah, that's why she hates it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because she's like,
totally
you're not mine. You're not mine. And it was kind of fucked. It was so evil because she almost like fakes the son's death, and the son isn't dead. But she did that so that way she could have nonstop access to it and beat the shit out of it and torture it for years. So that's why when Jeffrey Combs goes up there and finds the little baby casket, the baby's not in there, and he's like, he's in the house. He's not dead. You know what I mean? So it's really fucked up that the mom did that.
It kind of makes you feel for the freak. It's like he's a tortured character.
Yeah.
Especially if you've read the Outsider story, you can... If you want to put the Outsider story as an actual direct influence to Castle Freak, then you can really get into the mind of the freak, and you realize he's a really tortured person. Like, he wants to be normal so badly, and he's afraid of anybody else just even seeing him. He doesn't know how to be a regular person because he's been stuck in this cell and beaten his whole life. I mean, he doesn't even know how to interact with people or what's what. Like, we see the scene with the prostitute in the movie, and he doesn't know what to do with her. He just knows he wants to do something, but he's not sure what that is. He has these feelings like, okay, and So he's watching Jeffrey Combs with her and kind of tries to imitate that a little bit. Like, oh, that's what you do. Okay.
Right.
It's like he's going through this movie figuring everything out. So he's not, like, inherently evil.
Right.
It's more misguided,
misguided, little animalistic in nature,
very primal,
doesn't really know what to do, but at some point when someone's that out of control, you got to stop it. You know what I mean? It's like, if you can't reason with the freak who's going around biting off nipples, what are you gonna do, right? You gotta like, go, hey, chill on the nipple biting, freak, all right? Look, we'll get you some McDonald's. All right, just chill out. We'll get you McDonald's. All right, but no. Stop nipple biting. But yeah, he breaks free. I like how he broke free. How he tore his thumb off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tore his thumb off. But then
later in the movie, it's back on.
Oh, really? Oops. Oops. Oh, well.
Later in the movie, it's totally fine. Like, he never did it, so.
He has regeneration powers. We didn't know that.
Apparently.
But yeah, like you were saying, back to the daughter who's blind, because the father had the car accident because he was drunk, and that's why Barbara Crampton basically hates him. That bedroom scene was very kind of unsettling. It was a little creepy because it kind of came out of nowhere. There was no slow build up to it. Like it's just a shot of the bedroom. She's sitting in there. She's sleeping in there with the lights out, and he just walks in. The Castle Freak just walks in. He just walks up next to her, and he starts, pawing at her, and doesn't know what to do, and then he makes noise and runs out. And I was like, dude, that's a little creepy. you know.
Right.
But things happen naturally like that, you know. Unlike whatever the fuck happens in the remake. They do the same scene in the remake, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Anyway, but I kind of liked how the freak was. He did show some intelligence too, though.
Yeah.
When he was like hiding, when Combs was looking for him to beat the shit out of him, and he was like posing as furniture. He had the sheet over himself, and he's like next to the other, like the furniture with sheets on it, you know,
like a Scooby-Doo villain, basically.
But like you were saying, it's got the atmosphere, it's got the makeup effects, it's got the creepy, you know, horror vibe, which is why we came to the dance, right?
Yep.
But then you get these little bonuses, and what stood out to me was the performance between Combs and Barbara Crampton when he was trying to convince her, you know, that he thought he saw a picture of what looked like his son, their son, down there, and the burial area inside the castle where the caskets are and stuff. And she didn't want to hear anything, but, what's going on, Neenan? All the way from Germany.
Oh,
all right. Thanks for showing up. But that whole scene where he's like trying to explain to her, look, the picture that this kid looked like our son on here, which was supposed to be the freak, you know, because they're all related. Remember, that's his family. So it's not too far-fetched that someone in his family looks like his son a little bit, you know what I mean? Or their son. But the freak took that photo away. Mm-hmm. That's why when we went back down there, the photo wasn't there anymore. But he's like just talking, kind of blabbing, you know, all that stuff. He's like, look, it was here, blah, blah, blah. And to her, she already can't stand him because of what he did. She can't forgive him yet. And to her, it's just rambling, and he just looks paranoid, you know. And she's just like
he's drunk.
Right. And they have the argument down there, and really good acting performances from both of them. Yeah. And he's trying to tell her, look, I'm trying. And she doesn't want to hear it. And then he says, if I could trade places with our son, I would. You know, if I could, die instead of our son, and if there's anything I could have done, I would do it, and without a heartbeat. Would you? And the trippy thing is, right after that, Barbara Crampton is literally like, "Well, I wish that too." Yep. I was like, yo, like that. I was like, scenes like this, these are bonuses to already a pretty good creature featured horror flick. Mm-hmm. And these are the things I remember besides, the biting off the nipples and shit. But really good acting from both leads. And that, I was just like, holy fuck. Emotional content. But you get your gore, you get your creature feature, you get your emotional content, you're drawn to the characters, you care about the characters, unlike the remake, which we're going to get to in a little bit.
Yeah, it's not often you get like a straight up horror creature feature with substance. Mm-hmm. It's usually just very empty and shallow, and
you're there
this movie had
you're there for the creature.
It had a lot of things going on besides just the freak, like. There was a lot going on and a lot to connect to and a lot to kind of digest, and I think that's why it stands out to me personally as a classic. There's just so much there to unpack, and it's just a really well done movie all around. The story's great, like you said, the atmosphere, the characters, the acting, everything is fantastic about it. Like, I don't really have much bad to say about it. I mean, I could nitpick here and there, but So my final rating for it that I have on Letterboxd, if you want to follow me on Letterboxd, by the way, it's like a movie. Cool. Yeah. So it's like a movie app or whatever. Mm-hmm. You can put all your reviews in. Yeah. I'm just Gorekeeper on there. So I only rate horror movies. So if you want to check out my opinion on like whatever horror movie, I always follow back too. So that's a plus. Right. But I gave it 4 stars.
All right. 5. Nice. Yeah. I think that's about right. I would give it 4. I also would give it 4.
It's not a perfect movie, but there's a lot good going for it. Mm-hmm.
And you could tell, small budget. You could tell. Yeah. But it's still the small budget of it though did not detract from the enjoyment of what you were watching. Like, you get cool scenes like the freak jumping through the window. he just jumps through the glass window when he starts chasing them at the end, with the final confrontation. And, back to what he did to that poor prostitute. Dude, that, like I said, there's some creepy, unsettling things in here. Like, when he gets found by, what was it, the caretaker of the castle, the older lady?
Yep.
When he gets found by her and, he's basically trying to finish eating the rest of the body, the prostitute's not dead.
Nope.
That was fun. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man. Like, it looks like she's dead. And then the lady comes over here, and then the camera goes this way, and really good directed by Stewart, by the way. And the camera comes back, and then the prostitute's head rises up. I'm like, oh my god, she's still alive.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was nuts.
That was horrible. But no, it's this is why you're here. This is a bad dude that you can kind of sympathize with to a point, but then you got to put him down. You got to put him down because he's too crazy. But yeah, 4 stars. Very enjoyable. Very enjoyable.
Now let's move on to the
greatest of all time
2020 remake.
Yes.
Which was a movie.
I guess. I guess.
Man, where to start with it? Because it is a wild ride, and not for the best reasons.
So, just want to let chat know, and everybody's watching. Don't forget, thanks again for hanging out with us and watching. Don't forget to like the video, guys. But and subscribe to Gorekeeper. But Castle Freak poster states. It states right on the poster, letting y'all motherfuckers know what's up. It states, a bold reimagining. Yes. Bold reimagining. Remember that. Okay. So that's the tagline that we will take with us throughout the rest of this video. All right. Go ahead. Let's do it. 2020.
All
Castle
right,
Freak.
So, there are some differences with this movie, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
This is labeled as a reboot versus a remake, which is makes it a little bit easier to digest, to let you know, like, they're not just making a straight up remake of this. It's a reboot. And did you see the after credit scene?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, so that makes me wonder. Okay, spoilers here from on out.
Okay.
So now we're talking about the remake.
Yeah.
So if you don't want spoilers, stop the video. Or just fast forward to the end.
Just stay and listen. Don't watch this movie.
Yeah, don't watch it.
Don't watch this movie. Okay.
So it kind of makes me wonder if they're doing like a universe with this. Like, will there be more reboots coming? I know Reanimator's been talked about like off and on for years about a reboot happening.
Yeah.
And they showed Herbert West at the end with his little vial of green stuff. So it's like,
in the end credits, right?
Yeah. So it's
and
like,
you know when that scene happened, you know what I did? Fuck you. Fuck you, movie.
Because
that was my reaction. That was my reaction. Yeah, I was like, really, movie? Really? You're gonna try to get smart now? Really? The even though I said fuck you, I guess creating a shared universe idea might be fun.
Yeah, I think it could be cool.
But there's no point of it if it's gonna be shit like this.
Right. Like, if they were really going to do it, you should start off with something that you legitimately believe in is going to be good. And this, I do not think they ever had the idea that this is going to be a good movie. It was a cash grab, for sure. They're like, well, the people love Castle Freak, so let's remake it. People will watch it. And idiots like me decided, I'm going to watch that,
Well, I watched it too.
I fell for it. Like, I watched the trailer, and I'm like, okay, it's going to be low budget again.
Yeah, it's fine.
But the first one was low budget, so maybe it's going to be fine.
Right.
And it wasn't fine.
No. And, if they want to do this new universe here, well, they pulled The Mummy from Universal Studios.
Exactly.
With Tom Cruise. They fucked it up. They fucked it up if that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
I expected it to be different. I didn't mind the movie being different and being its own thing. That's perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. But I'll just go into a little bit here if you don't mind.
No problem.
So, right when the title came up with the fake-ass fucking fog, I was just like, oh, no.
Yep, then you knew you were in for something, like, right after that.
I was like, no. All right, so anyway. Oh, God. So, anything that I can create on my, video editor at home, it's not good. That's not a good sign. If I can do it, that's not a good sign, okay? So, anyway. Right at the beginning, they already show the monster. Right at the beginning. Yeah. I was just like, okay.
They pulled no punches with that one at all.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well, so much for the build-up for that. But we'll get into the complicated to be complicated plot. I'll let you go into that.
All right, so first off, the freak this time is not a male. It is a female freak. We don't find that out for a little while, but you can kind of tell. I just want to throw this out there. So when the female freak is looking at two of the characters doing it, a very boring sex scene, she's looking at him doing it. All of a sudden, I hear a lot of gush sound effects, and I was like, "Is that what I think it is?" Yep, it's exactly what you thought it was.
What is it, like, just as much as, remember Scary Movie?
Remember
Scary Movie where it just shot out and stuck the girl to the ceiling?
Yep.
Is that what we just happened, except in the reverse, because it's a female? What the fuck? It didn't show anything, if you guys are wondering.
No, it's just a lot of facial expressions and grunts and a little shoulder movement. It's like, you can tell what's happening.
Before I let you get into the complicated plot, just to be complicated, This was, again, showed the monster too soon, right in the beginning, no build-up. Okay, when it got to the club scene, right in the beginning, where our cast is sitting around talking, this was my reaction. This is what I put down. What the fuck is happening? This is what I put down. What the fuck are they talking about? Again, I don't give a shit about these people. These are my notes. Like, over here. I'm like... talking about political shit, sitting around like, dude, what is this? This is from the man trying to take us down. Castle Freak, everyone! Hey! It's like, oh God, I just can't. The only good was this.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. But yeah, I was just like, I was already like, no. I was already like, okay, I hope, this is what I was hoping. I hope they all have amazing deaths at that point, because I'm like, I don't give a shit about these people.
Yeah.
Now, here's where the movie, right in the first 15 minutes, the movie is already failing. You already showed the monster, no scary build-up, and you give us characters we don't care about, and the car crash was one of the most hilarious moments in the movie. I could not stop laughing.
It looked like a regular, like you were going maybe 5 miles per hour, and you kind of dipped off into the ditch a little bit on accident. That's what it looked like. It looked like nothing severe happened, and then all of a sudden, she's blinded now.
Yeah, it was just like, it was so cheap looking. It was just like, Again, it's like their reaction was like they're in a ride at Disneyland. What's up, Mr. Toad's ride? Whatever they call. Those you sit in those little things. That's what I was like.
You know the scene from Tommy Boy with the cars and they're on fire?
Yeah.
That looked more convincing.
But I was like, number one, we don't know who these people are. We don't care. The boyfriend is like fucking annoying dick. And,
he's a prick. This entire movie.
And there's no. To be honest, I wasn't even sympathetic for the girl. She knew his fucking ass was drunk as fuck.
She let him.
Why are you letting him drive? Already, I'm annoyed. This is the first 15 minutes. I'm like, movie, you're failing fast, right at the start. But then go ahead. I'll let you take.
And then, what was the deal with the professor? Is he actually some kind of like professor, or is that just some nickname they give him because he's really smart? And if he's really smart, why is he hanging out with all these people who are clearly idiots?
I was just like, oh, you shut up. Every time he tried to talk, I was like, shut up. We see what this is. It's the Necronomicon, okay? So I was just like, dude, okay, he's exposition guy. That's his character. He's exposition guy. But then I was like, okay, are they trying to make him likable now? Like towards the end, which we'll get to. I was like, they're trying to make him likable now because he's trying to help the girl out. I'm like, okay, is that where they're going with him now? And then the last 15 minutes, which we will save up to the end, we go into detail. The last 15 minutes is like hell's a poppin', crazy town, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But go ahead, go for it.
Speaking of the professor, there's a term. There's a horror podcast I like called The Horror Show. I don't know if you've ever listened to it, but it's very good.
Okay.
But they once did a review on the movie called The Mangler. You know about that one? About the
Is that
killer.
Robert Englund?
I don't remember if it was Robert Englund.
Okay.
I know Lance Henriksen was in the sequel to The Mangler.
Oh,
no,
okay.
it was the dude who played Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs. He was the main actor. I forget his name. But basically it's about a killer industrial washing machine.
Sold.
Yeah, and there's a guy in the movie that he just knows all about it. Like, oh yeah, if you have a demonic washing machine, this is what you do.
Yeah.
And so they now refer to all those people who just have all the answers to all these random things.
Yeah.
They call him the Mangle Expert.
Okay.
And
the
professor is the ultimate Mangle Expert. He just knows everything that nobody would ever know or have any knowledge of, and he just knows it. Because he's just the Mangle Expert.
Because at first, the way he was talking about the political stuff and all this, I was like, okay, this guy's just full of himself. He's just full of shit, like a know-what-all. But then he ended up being the know-it-all later. Neenan says the mummy was a piece of shit. Can you highlight that?
Yep.
Yeah, yes, we just want to make sure that's highlighted because it was bad.
Yes, it was really
okay.
I've never heard anything good about it. I refuse to watch it.
It's bad.
I wanted to, but I didn't.
Yeah, you're not missing anything.
There was a plot.
They're only. Yeah, he's laughing. There was a plot. Whatchamacallit, the only interesting thing about The Mummy was Russell Crowe being Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and kind of he was almost like a Professor X. Like, he knew about other creatures and stuff like that. He had, like, an organization. It was very interesting. That was it, really. Nothing else was, it was just a waste of time.
Which sucks, because I was actually really excited for the Dark Universe. I'm like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
But I wonder if maybe, is there still some kind of plans for it, maybe? Because they did The Invisible Man.
I'm hearing.
And that was amazing.
That was very good. You know why that was good? Because they concentrated on making a good movie first.
Yeah. And Leigh Whannell's a great director.
Yeah. It was like, stop thinking franchise. Make a good movie first. Mm-hmm. Then capitalize off of the success of it. Yes. But they were already, like, when The Mummy came out, they already had photos of the actors that might be playing the future installments. I'm like, slow your brakes, okay?
Yeah.
You stop biting the nipples, okay? You're already trying to bite the nipples. Chill on that.
That's going to be the new catchphrase of my show now.
That's it. Do it. Use it.
Don't bite the nipples.
Don't bite the nipples.
But yeah, like you were saying, there's not any likable characters in this movie, and that's
none.
That's like one of the ultimate cardinal sins you could do in a movie, because then you have no other choice but to root for the bad guy.
Which I was.
Yeah, me
too. By the end, I was ready for the
And sometimes that's a good thing, like the Devil's Rejects. Like, they were obviously the bad guys, but for some reason, you kind of rooted for them. You know, like, I don't know what it was about them, but something made you be like, keep going, you know.
It was their personality. They were entertaining to watch, even though they were terrible people. Yeah. They were entertaining to watch.
But this was not that.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This was just a bunch of idiotic college kids. Okay, so basically this girl realizes that she was adopted. Well, I think she knew she was adopted, but she finds her adoptive parents through, I think his name was like, what was the guy's name that caretaked the castle? I don't remember.
Caretaker.
Yeah, caretaker. Okay. Some Italian dude. No, it wasn't even in Italy, was it? It was a different country.
Sure. Dude, I'm so checked out, dude. I'm so checked out of this movie, but yeah, go ahead.
I want to say it was even like Romania, maybe. It was
sure.
But the caretaker reaches out to her, and she's like, well, you inherited this castle, so come down. So they fly out or whatever, drive out, fly out, whatever.
Yeah.
They go to this castle, and they're like, well, we're not going to keep it.
Castle.
Because it's a castle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very loosely, it's a castle.
Yeah.
And they don't want to keep it because it's a castle. And they don't know what they're going to do with it. The boyfriend, who for some reason she stays with, no idea why.
Yeah.
He caused her blindness, and she decides, I'm going to stay with this piece of shit.
Yeah.
That made no sense to me.
No.
Just made me think, okay, this girl's an idiot then. She's just dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, they get to this castle.
This nice villa.
Yeah. And... What?
Not the girl
let him drive. The screen let her. Yeah. So they get to the place or whatever, and right away the caretaker's kind of a shady dude. He's not shady, but he acts weird, and I don't know if that was intentional or if he was just a really bad actor. But he came off like he was uncomfortable the whole time.
Yeah. For a second, I thought he was kind of hitting on the girl there.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Anything you need.
Yeah, it was creepy.
You got some. I see you have nipples over here. They need some bite. They need biting. Just let me know.
Off.
Yeah. Castle Freak 2020, the nipple biting edition. Release.
Yeah, even though there was none of that. And that
Boo.
Yeah, like why would you drop that scene?
We get other things later, which we'll get into later.
We got a way more intense scene than nipple biting. Yeah, so basically it shows the boyfriend lying to her a lot. Like, she sees or she puts on that red dress or whatever, or maybe it was a blue dress. I don't know. I don't recall. But he calls the dress the wrong color. I don't know why he decided to call it the wrong color. He just was like, "Oh no, that's not. You're blind. You can't see, so it's blue." It's like, stop being a dick.
Stop being a dick.
She's blind, man. Like, tell her what color dress it is.
Like, freak, anytime. Come in and kill this motherfucker.
Yeah, you're waiting the whole time.
Bite his nipples.
Oh yeah. Well, he might have got a little worse than that.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So progressively throughout this movie, the boyfriend just becomes more and more of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And in one aspect, that works for the movie. Like, it's like, okay, well, you really want to see this guy dead. Right. But in the original, it's a guy who's flawed and did basically the same mistakes as this dude did at the beginning.
Right.
But you can see progress within Jeffrey Combs, and then he falls, but then there's more progress.
Right.
In this movie, it's just, he starts off as a piece of shit, and then he just becomes completely unredeemable. Yep. And that's what sucks. Because in the original, by the time Jeffrey Combs is dead, you're on his side. And you don't want him dead, but he is. Right. In this movie, when, spoiler, the boyfriend dies, you didn't care. You were just like, oh, finally.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like, yeah, that was a great kill. It was just like, good.
Yeah.
The guy's finally gone.
Pretty much. And there was all this forced dialogue, too. Like,
so much.
Just, like, earlier, when he's in the bed with the girl, and he's all like, it's so bad, man. Like, just their dialogue and acting. Like, they're in the bed together, and she doesn't want any, and he's all like, the camera pans this way, and you hear in the background, I wish you'd forgive me. And I'm like, dude, we don't even know who the fuck you are, bro. We don't even know who you are. So far, you've been a douche. What is this? Like, I'm just, But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I want to talk about the kills a little bit. So, the kills in the first one, I felt were really effective and, for the most part, pretty brutal.
Yeah.
While you didn't get to see a ton of it happening,
right.
You could still tell you saw a lot of the aftermath, and you could just your mind piece it together like what did he all do? You know, like how did this victim get to the point of where it's at now?
Right.
And in this movie, it's a lot of quick cut stuff, like they do in like cheap action movies or the really high budget shitty action movies, where it's like a punch and then it's like this far and then they cut and then it's like this far and then they cut and then you see that. It's just like you can't make sense of what's happening. No. So in none of these kills could you see or tell what was really happening.
It was too fucking dark.
It
was way too dark.
It was almost all the kills were in the castle, in the catacombs of the castle, like in the pitch black. Yeah. And then maybe you see a flashlight pan across it really quick.
Dude,
but that's all you get.
No atmosphere. No atmosphere.
None.
Every time the original Castle Freak was walking around, you were like, oh God, what's going to happen now? Right? Every time the freak was walking around, I was just like,
Yeah, no.
Like the freak, like before, like I was saying with the freak hovering over the blind daughter's bed. It was a little kind of creepy looking because it kind of came out of nowhere. Yeah. It came out of nowhere. And this one, you know, it was just like, oh, she's there and she's gone. You know, it was just every time the freak was on screen, it wasn't scary, it wasn't unsettling, it wasn't disturbing. You didn't even give a shit of what the freak was about to do. A little bit later, it was kind of hilarious because of what happens to the boyfriend, which we'll get to. That I was not expecting at all.
No, me
which kind of made me laugh. It made me laugh. But I'm not supposed to be laughing a lot in this creature feature. This bold reimagining. Okay? And I was just like, dude, I just like, oh, here's the original. Oh, fuck, there's the freak. Somebody's going to die or something's going to happen. Here's the new one. Oh, there's the freak. Oh, there's a freak over there. Hey, what's going on, freak? What's cracking? You want to get some Starbucks? You want some Starbucks? Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't have a problem with the look of the freak in this movie. I thought the design for the freak was actually well done.
Yeah, it was all right.
I like the original better, but that's probably just because I consider it a classic. And, you know, but I did like the creature design of the freak in this movie. I think that was a solid point to it.
Yeah, I'll give it that.
Another thing I did like about it was at first I was weary about the added Lovecraft lore, but I kind of enjoyed it towards the end of the movie. As it kept going, I was like, okay. Right. Because I've personally read a lot of Lovecraft stuff, and I really enjoy the Lovecraft lore and all of the fun stuff in there. So when they brought up Yars the Goth or whatever...
Did you see Underwater?
I did.
Dude.
It was okay.
Oh, I thought that was great.
I liked the big creature at the end was the high point. I didn't like the look of the smaller creatures very much. But that end scene made it worth it, and there were some cool kills in there and stuff.
I thought it was going to be the worst movie ever, and I dismissed it until someone told me, a little birdie, that somebody shows up at the end. I'm like, what? Get out of here! I watched it. I was entertained. But yeah, back to Castle Freak. But yeah, I think the Lovecraftian lore that was introduced later in the movie was piquing your interest, right? That's what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Right.
I was really enjoying that, and I guess I just didn't like the way they were doing it through the Mangle expert, the professor. Right. I felt like that was lazy and forced. Yeah. I feel like there could have been more creative ways to do that. I don't know what that would have been. I guess I don't have any ideas of how they could have done it. But it just felt so forced.
It felt forced, and it didn't help that if we had a better actor, a more seasoned actor, that could have portrayed a little darkness in him. Like, maybe he was a nice guy, but he was smart, right? Right. And then throughout the movie, there's a little bit more to our guy here. You know what I mean? Like, and then all of a sudden you find out, he's really interested in this stuff, and now he's captivated by it. And now it's drawn him to it, and now he's all in. Which was probably what they were trying to go for, but they completely failed. Because you go from, okay, this guy's just talking like he's the shit and blah, blah, blah. Then we go, okay, he might be likable now because he's trying to help the blind girl, right? Oh, no, full-on Cthulhu master. Like, what? What? Show me! Show me! I'm like, oh my God.
Like, as if he had known about this stuff his entire life, but really he was learning it as then we went on from this book. So it's like he didn't know anything about it like 2 days before, and now he's
Right.
just like, this is my dream.
My destiny.
This is everything to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't care who dies or what happens.
no,
I
fuck
just
it.
want to see it because I'm selfish.
Yeah.
And it's a turn like that. It's
Yeah.
not a slow build
No.
into madness at all, which
Yeah.
it should have been.
Yes.
It should have been Shining-esque as a slow descent into craziness. And you see him maybe do something a little sketchy here and there behind their backs. But no, it's just, I'm going to help you. And I'm a
that's
good
it.
guy. So don't worry about it. And then, actually, you should go sacrifice yourself with because I want to see that.
Do you think the freak knew that the girl was her sister? Because why did the
I think
freak...
she did, but I don't know how.
Yeah, because why did the freak save the sister from being crushed by the foam statue, the foam-looking Cthulhu statue? She like saved her from that. Maybe she just liked her.
Yeah,
Because she seemed nice.
Well, there was that scene in the underneath, where like in the catacombs, basically of the castle or in the walls or whatever, and she comes up to her and they kind of meet, and the freak doesn't attack her. It's just like, oh, like reaching for her, like, you're my sister. It's like,
damn it,
how would
Nina.
she know?
God damn it, Nina! Click on his. God damn it. Well, we might have a future. Is it really that bad episode? 40%, bro. That's horrible.
Wait, which castle freak
He's talking,
has a 40%?
If he's saying why, he probably means the original. That's really bad. We might have a future. Is it really that bad episode? Me and you.
If 40% is for the original, that's way too low.
Yeah.
And if it's for the remake, that's way too high.
Okay.
Okay, that's way too high.
That's way too high. Okay. I was scared there. Almost gave me a heart attack there. Okay, yeah. So, do you want to talk about? Are we gonna jump into the twist and the plot, or did you want to build up to that with the friends showing up to? Now the friends are there. They're supposed to help move the items.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that too much, because if they're selling the castle, couldn't they just sell it with all the furniture that it came with as is? Like, why did they need their friends there?
Yeah.
What was the... It felt pointless.
Yeah.
I mean, if I inherited a castle and I went to go see it and I didn't want anything to do with it, I'd just be like...
Yeah, just sell it.
Sell it. Like, I don't
You do
care.
all the moving, whoever, you take it.
Right.
Just give me the money.
Like, I don't want anything to do with it. Like,
Dude.
I wouldn't be like, my friends, come stay with me for a week in this castle.
Yeah.
Unless I wanted to keep it, then I'd be like, "Hey, come stay in my castle and
I
have
would have
a
moved.
good time."
Me and you would have moved in.
Yeah,
I would have moved in. Me and Lady Fatblood, we all would have moved in. This is awesome. You don't have to pay.
One thing I forgot to say when you brought up the
mortgage.
When you brought up the atmosphere, one thing I was gonna say that I forgot to say was, how do you have a movie set in an old, creepy castle and not have any atmosphere?
It's amazing. It's pretty impressive.
If you just, it's impressively a big failure. It's like, how is that even possible? It's set in a fucking castle. How do you lack atmosphere? But it really did. And I feel like a lot of it was color palette choices. It was like that, like, yellowish kind of like warmth in like color. It's very earthy. It's like it just brings you in and it makes you feel comfort. And that's not what this castle is supposed to do.
The castle from the outside looked like a villa. It looked like, hey, let's come visit.
Nice.
There's the gift shop around here. That's what it felt like. Like
they were like 10 feet away from the town. They literally walked outside and there was people going like, "Oh, that castle's evil." It's like, okay, and then shouldn't it be like far out in the country where no one can be around?
Yeah.
You're isolated at minimum. We were isolated, and that wasn't even the case.
It didn't feel ancient or lived in, so I don't know. I was, I was just. Let me see. Okay.
Not much higher, really.
Well, you know what? We're going to leave that alone because it's at a 57 critic score, which I'm actually stunned the critics gave it 57. I'm actually, because I'm actually surprised. I'm actually surprised.
That is surprising.
So we can. It's safe. It's safe. We'll leave it. But I was just like, dude. But it just. I was fucking bored, man. I was fucking bored. And once we get to the we'll get to the fucking, the deaths, and then the 15 minutes of hell's a poppin' in the second. But up to that point, I was just like, dude, when is this gonna fucking end? Like, something happened. For fuck's sake, something happened, man. Jesus.
It was dragging.
Yeah.
This movie, it wasn't that long of a movie, but it felt like a really long movie. Like, it really took its time. Like, to do anything.
Unlikable actors. I mean, unlikable characters. Actors just were meh. Oh, can you explain to me, when you got hot chicks out there that fanboy and gush, if you will, like the freak in this movie did, over, like, for example, Jason Momoa or something like that, right? It kind of makes sense, right? Or the actor who's playing Deathstroke, right? Makes sense why they gush over that guy, right?
Yep.
What the fuck did that guy have that blonde chick was like, she was on a mission, yo.
Oh, yeah.
She was thirsty for generic douchebag number 5. Something about generic douchebag number 5. She, like, she could have had the brother, right? She could have had the other dude who really was into her for some reason, that plot went nowhere. That was weird.
No,
why'd you even introduce that? But no, she wanted douchebag number 5 for some reason. She was on a mission.
Yeah, and he was the worst of the bunch, like, in every aspect. Terrible.
The professor was an upgrade.
Yeah, the professor was even a better looking dude than the dude, and he was smart. It's like, why not go for the professor?
Oh my god! But anyway,
let's get to the Castle Freak getting freaky, because that happened and it was shocking.
Oh.
So our main guy, the boyfriend, cheats on his blind girlfriend with...
He's like, fuck it, the blind chick doesn't like me anymore, she's difficult, fuck her.
Yeah, and he kind of does it for no reason, just because she's paranoid that someone might be in the castle with them, and he doesn't want to believe her, even though everybody else is like, maybe she's right, but he's just like, no fucking way, you guys are a bunch of pieces of shit. And it's just like, why are you being this way? What is wrong with you?
The old lady at the gift shop or whatever the fuck's trying to warn everyone.
Yeah.
He's like,
everybody in this movie is like, maybe she's right.
Bro. Fuck you, bro. I'm douchebag number 5, bro.
He was not someone to reason with. Anyways, there's a girl in the group that you talked about.
Yeah.
That they hook up.
Yeah.
In the middle of their hookup, the freak kills her and
decides... Did she break her neck? It was kind of hard to tell what happened there. Because where'd all the blood come from? It's like, where'd all the blood come from?
Yeah, maybe it was like a throat slash, maybe? And then the neck? I don't know.
It was hard.
It was very quick.
Yeah.
But then the freak, now that we know it's a female this time, not a male, as in the original, decides to...
Need its comment!
Oh... It's not I forgot, yeah. So that's how this happens. He's blindfolded and handcuffed to the bed.
Oh man, that caught me off guard. But yeah,
the freak decides to ride this man.
Yeah.
To try her first time.
Yes,
and it was very uncomfortable to watch.
It was
I almost turned it off at that point. I was like, I don't want to see this. This is awful.
But there's one good thing about the scene and one bad thing about the scene. The one good thing about the scene was I was like so fucking bored with the movie and just waiting for it to end that when that scene happened, I was like, oh my god, is this actually going to happen? I was actually kind of paying attention finally, right? Just because I was in shock, like this was going on. That's the good thing. The only bad thing about that scene is we didn't see the aftermath. We didn't see his reaction.
Right.
Because it's just like, oh, the friends come in and he's all like, let me out. And I'm like, well, come on. It would have been cool if he's seen.
If the freak would have pulled down or something like
come on.
Yeah, that would have been great. That's what I was waiting for. It's like, okay, well, this is uncomfortable, but I'm going to keep watching because I want to see how he reacts because I am reacting.
Yeah,
as a viewer. So I want to see how he would react. And they didn't even give us that.
It's like, he doesn't even know. That's the whole point of a scene like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like all he knows is that he was doing it with somebody else, and the friend is dead now. That's all he knows. So and you think he'd be a little bit more curious because he's full of blood, like even on his crotchal region, like because the Castle Freaks thing was just a big pool of blood, basically, which was disgusting. It was horrible. Nothing is good about this movie.
I want to know. I want to know where the Castle Freak got her. Was there some porn on in the castle? Because the Castle Freak kind of gave him a little, you know what, before she started writing. The Castle Freak was a pro. You know, she knew what to do there. I was like, when did this happen? When did she learn this? But anyway, yeah.
So Castle Freak 2020 is better than the What would you say to that? When's better? I guess I don't know.
The last 15 minutes of this is so fucking batshit insane and hilarious that I'd rather be shocked and laugh at something because it's so bad and shocking to get entertainment that way than be bored out of my mind.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
So
yeah, I guess we can get to the end of this movie.
The twist. Let everybody know the twist here. Yeah.
Yeah. So turns out, so it's really
she should have bit his dick off. She should have bit his dick off. Okay.
Yes.
The original Castle Freak, he bit off nipples. Right. This one, the female Castle Freak should have bit his dick off. And I would have been happy. I would have been happy with that.
100%. That's what should have happened.
Yes.
And then he
sees it. After he sees what's on him. Rip. Kielbasa sausage, Wiener Schnitzel, time. Okay. Sorry.
Oh, man.
This is fun.
So, I've lost my train of thought now. Now you got me focusing
the twist. Okay, sorry. So, the big reveal.
It's kind of hard. It was hard for me to follow during the movie, but okay. So the nun lady we see at the beginning of the movie is the blind girl's mother, right?
Yes.
And the mother of the freak because they're twin sisters. Okay.
Yes.
So there's that. The reason she got pregnant was because the father was part of this cult of Yog-Sothoth. Grandfather,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so
the mother was Christian. He was Cthulhu cult.
Yeah.
Right.
There was some weird monster penis thing going on.
Tentacles.
Yeah.
We had some hentai action going here.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
I haven't seen any hentai. I just heard about it. That's what they.
Right. Oh yeah.
I just want to make that clear.
So he impregnates the nun, and the two sisters are born. But it's all to solidify this prophecy of Yog-Sothoth is what it's called, I think.
I think so.
Yog-Sothoth?
I think.
Something like that.
Yeah. Is that real? Is that from the lore, that creature?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was hoping it'd be Cthulhu, but it wasn't. It was
Yog-Sothoth,
but whatever. It's fine.
It's Cthulhu verse. It's fine.
Yeah. It's very close.
Yeah.
So the prophecy was to have these two sisters be united and do some kind of ritual at this place at a certain time. But the nun lady didn't want that to happen, so she separated them at birth, gave one up for adoption, kept the freak in the castle, and abused it like we saw in the first one.
Yeah.
So that happens.
Yeah.
So the twist being, the boyfriend finally finds out about the freak. The friends go to hunt down the freak. They all get picked off one by one in scenes that are not memorable. I don't even remember how any of it happened. It was very quick, stupid kills. It was nothing.
In the dark. Their deaths were in the dark. You couldn't even see what happened.
No,
I laughed though because they were trying to make this. They did this big dramatic speech between each. They're all forehead to forehead. Because their girlfriend died and they're all we're gonna get him. We're gonna get it. We're gonna hunt.
So amped
up. And then as soon as they showed up, they just jobbed quick.
Yeah.
I was laughing at that, but it would have been nice to see.
Quickly.
It would have been nice to see it, but yeah.
Yeah. So the boyfriend and our blind girl are our last two survivors. Oh, also, not to get too off track, but there was a drug dealer in this scene in this movie that kind of felt unnecessary. His death was all right because he was just all doped up and going, "What's going on? What are you eating me for?"
For a second, he was like the best character in the movie.
Oh,
before he died. That's how boring and useless everybody else was.
Yeah.
So before we move on, what was the fucking point of the fake caretaker in this movie? What was the point?
I have no idea. That made zero sense to me. I didn't get that either.
Because wasn't he the one
that
he killed the mother? He killed the mom.
Yep.
I'm still trying to figure.
Maybe it was because he is a part of that cult and he wanted the sisters to be reunited.
Okay.
By killing the mother, he could do that.
Maybe guess.
That was his point or the goal of him.
I guess so, because at the end he kind of turned on the boyfriend.
Yeah, he tried to kill him or whatever.
Right.
And
oh, Jesus Christ. So many fucking horrible, useless...
There were so many little twists, and there's too much going on in this movie.
And you don't care.
It's a very simple concept. It's a freak in the castle.
That's it.
You don't need anything else.
That's it.
So, while the added lore was cool, and I appreciated it made it convoluted and confusing, and it was a kind of a mess.
Yeah.
So the freak and the boyfriend are having this showdown outside.
I was rooting for the freak.
Oh yeah, me too.
I was rooting for the freak at this point. I was like, everyone die. I want the freak to live, and I want the freak to kill everyone. That's how I felt at this movie. But yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, it turns out the blind girl doesn't want her sister to be dead.
And I wanted her to die for saying that.
Yeah.
It's just like don't kill my sister! Don't kill... I'm like, really?
You don't know her, and she's a maniac. She's a freak. She's killed all your friends.
What are you doing?
And oh my god!
Oh god, dude!
Handle this movie. It was so bad.
Yeah.
So she kills her boyfriend instead, and then the professor, who's still alive at this point, starts starts getting to the point like, you need to do this ritual to release Yog Sothoth or the ancient gods or the elder gods or whatever they were.
The old ones. The old ones.
Yeah, the old ones. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So they do that, and you see a little out in the distance in the clouds, you see some creatures coming through a portal, and that's the end of the movie.
Oh my god. The last 15 minutes, I was like in shock of what's happening.
It all happened so fast. There was so much.
That I was like awake now. I was like, okay, I'm awake now. I'm paying attention because this went off the rails. We're batshit insanity now. Okay, so let me pay attention. So I'm like watching this just to see what happens. And I'm just like, we got tentacles coming out of pussies. The last fucking shot of the movie. Well, first I was already laughing. Like, after the boyfriend died, I was already laughing when the freak is like, you know, I'm like, what is happening? And the freak grabs the hand of her sister, and they're holding hands. I never thought in a million years I would be watching a Castle Freak movie where the human is holding hands with the freak, and they're standing there like Care Bear stare, like they're just like, and I'm just like, oh my god, is this actually happening right now? And then all of a sudden, you know, the portal opens up, right? And then the Oshkosh Bagosh comes out of the portal, and then you got fucking the professor over here going, yes, Oshkosh Bagosh is coming out of the right, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is insanity. And then all of a sudden, the tentacle comes out of the freak pussy, right?
Yeah.
And then
weird.
And then all of a sudden, the sisters, like the blind sisters, like, and the editing. What the hell was happening with the editing? We'd have these zoom in freeze frames. Like, what are you doing, movie? Like, who is editing this? What is that? Why are you doing that? Stop that. I guess they're trying to make it intense. And then the last shot of the movie, and then, you know, Oshkosh Bagosh is coming through, right? And then the last shot of the movie is the blind sister's legs open, and you see an eyeball pop out of her pussy. Oh my god,
I forgot about
that. The eyeball pops out of her pussy. The end.
I forgot about the eyeball. I think I might have like mentally blocked it out.
I was in so much shock of what the fuck was happening because the whole movie up to that point was boring. I don't care. I want this to end generic. Just generic. The actors are bad. The characters are bad. Nothing scary. There's no atmosphere. Mm-hmm. I was looking at my watch that I don't have. Like I was just like, what? And
at that point, you were not looking forward to this episode.
It's all good. It's fun. This is what I do. It's fun. But like the last 15 minutes was so batshit insanity that I was just like applauding and laughing hysterically at the end. Like just because it was nuts. I didn't. Not that I enjoyed it, but I was just like, wow, that just came out of nowhere. But yeah, I guess that was the bold reimagining section that the poster kept talking about. But dude, and then you go to the end credits, and then you get the bootleg Herbert West. The stupid professor comes in and bootleg Herbert West. And I was like, no.
I'm curious as to what the old gods did, because clearly the professor had left that area,
and it came through.
They came through.
I think that'd be the end of the world.
No shit. But then you see the professor, like, clearly he's gotten away from that area, and he's with Dr. Herbert West now. And he's like, we need to talk. It's like, no. You think everyone would know about this? A giant alien creature just came out of a portal.
Yes. Fin Fang Foom came out of the portal, right? This should be the end of the world. It should be the mist now.
This would be all over the news and everywhere. But he's like, nobody knows about this, Herbert West, but I need to tell you about this.
like, oh my god.
The entire world would know what's going on with them. Like, oh my god, there's a portal opening, and there's old gods coming out of it. We need to do something.
The batshit insanity that happened in the last 15 minutes, as enjoyably bad as it was, it's not enough to save this train wreck. It's not enough. If the whole movie was like, you know what, fuck it, we're going to be batshit insane the whole fucking movie. We're going to be crank it up to 11. We're going to be over the top. We're going to be nuts from as soon as they arrive to that castle with the freak all the way to the end. I probably would have at least appreciated the effort of saying we're doing our own thing, but we're going fucking nuts, man. Hang on for dear life, whether you like it or not. Here we go. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, it was just so boring, man. And there's nothing. That's probably one of the... I don't know I've always been back and forth. What kind of bad movie would you want to watch? Like if you were forced to watch or you're curious. Would you want to watch a movie that's so bad you can laugh at it? Or did you want to watch a movie that's just completely generic and stale? It's not like 20% Rotten Tomatoes. It's maybe like 45 or up. But it's just nothing. Like, you'll forget about it after you're done. I'd rather go with It's So Bad It's Hilarious.
Yeah, I think I would too.
I'd rather. Especially, like, in the last 15 minutes, we were there in that territory.
We were all the way there.
Last shot of the movie, just reminding people that are watching right now, the last shot is legs, eyeball, pussy. Yep. That's it's hilarious.
The end on that.
It's fucking hilarious. Now, you know what would have been dope? You know what would have been cool? You have all of that happen. She realized, oh my god, what the fuck is happening? And then maybe she pulls a Jeffrey Combs and she kills herself, saving the world.
That would have been a way better ending.
I just saved the movie in 5 seconds. There.
It's not that hard, apparently. Like, you thought of that in 2 seconds.
Or
that's what they should do.
Or kill the sister. Just kill her. Kill the freak.
Yeah. Because she was totally vulnerable. She was just standing there with tentacles coming out of her. Standing there. Screaming into the ether. But, fuck. I guess my final verdict, my rating out of 5 stars of this was 2. Okay. I gave it 1 star because it was a movie.
Right.
And I gave it 1 other star because I appreciated what they attempted to do with the added lore.
With the lore, yeah.
I don't think it was successfully done in any way.
Right.
But I appreciate that they tried to do that.
Right. No, that's fair.
There was some fun ideas. It was not executed well.
Right. And 3 is average anyway, so this is just below average too.
Yeah. I didn't hate my time with it. Like,
right.
I'm glad I watched it. I had fun at the end of this movie. There was the middle part that was not fun, and the beginning was just kind of like, okay, well, this is like any other movie. It's going to take like 15, 20 minutes to get into.
Yeah.
But yeah, then there were some parts that made me want to stop watching it, and then there was parts that maybe I couldn't take my eyes away, like the finale.
Yeah.
Couldn't stop watching.
Yeah.
I was like, I want this more. Like, I hope this movie's a half hour longer now.
Oh God!
But not for good reasons. All for bad reasons.
Yeah, so bad it's good reasons. Yeah.
So what would you give it out of 5 stars?
I'm gonna give it a 1.
Okay, that's fair.
Because besides the makeup of the creature being good, this has no redeeming value to it. There's nothing good about it. But I'm gonna give it a 1.5. I'm gonna add that 0.5 on there. Here, no, you know what? I'll be generous. 1.9. I can't even give it 2. I can't even give it 2. 1.9, and that 0.9 is for the last 15 minutes of batshit insanity. I do give it a 2,
but I give it a soft 2.
Yeah, soft 2. A negative 1 point. No, I was kidding. But yeah, 1.9 for me. Fuck it. I'll be generous. I was gonna do 1.5, but fuck it.
So final verdict: 1995's Castle Freak wins this episode.
Not even close.
Landslide, in my opinion.
Not even close.
No, not even close. Doesn't touch the original.
Yeah.
And you think it would nowadays with like probably a similar budget, I would assume. And they couldn't save it somehow.
It's
not a complicated premise.
No.
And it didn't need to be that way.
No.
They could have made a shot-for-shot remake with just, like, updated effects, and I would have loved that.
Yeah. Yeah. And
because the first one is so well done in every aspect. Like again, it's not a perfect movie.
No.
You can tell it's low budget, and that's why I knocked it down a star to 4 stars out of 5.
Yeah.
But, like, it's still a solid movie. You can still put it on and get a lot out of it. This remake, you can't.
It's a great creature feature.
Yes.
And
definitely.
not only do you get the creature in your feature, but you get a bonus with that movie. You know, interesting, likable characters, solid performances, and, you know, character arcs. What the fuck? Who had a character arc in this fucking movie? Nobody.
The professor. But it wasn't really an arc. It was more of a spike.
You know what we've been here. You can solve this problem too. Maybe the Cthulhu members have a certain tattoo or mark where they're like
and
part of the.
He has it too.
Yeah, and he had it. I don't know.
That would have been simple.
Yeah,
he could have done something like that, but they decided not to.
Jesus Christ!
All right. Well.
This was fun. At least it's fun talking about it with you. It's always fun talking movies. Even if they're bad, they're always fun talking movies with someone. So
yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for joining me. I guess that wraps up this episode.
I thought we were talking for 6 hours. I thought this was a 6-hour stream. No, I'm kidding.
I could never stream for 6 hours. I know there's some people out there who like do 24-hour charity streams. It's like, oh my God. I would love to give to charity, but 24 hours, that's a long time to be streaming.
No, it's loud. No, my ass would fall asleep halfway. But this was a lot of fun. Thanks again for having me on
thanks
the
for coming
channel.
On.
Yeah. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Gorekeeper. He's got a lot more cool, fun content coming your way. And you can subscribe to me if you want. I don't know.
I would recommend it. I would recommend you do that. Actually, what I first initially was gonna call this was just all in capital letters versus. But then I was sitting there realizing that sounds familiar. And then I was like on YouTube after I'd already named it, and I was like, wait a minute. That's Samurai Guy's thing. Like, I need to change this, so it's like now it's called. I think I called it like There Can Only Be One or something like that.
I like that actually. That's actually better. That's cooler.
It's something.
There can only be one. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Highlander. It's all good.
Yeah. Next up on the channel, I think this Thursday, I believe, we're filming a new episode of Tyler's First Time. So please subscribe to check that out. I will announce the movie when it's done.
Okay.
Because I don't want Tyler to watch this and then get spoiled to it.
Oh, you won't be surprised. Okay.
But it is from 2003, and this won't spoil it, but you'll probably know it. It's directed by Victor Salva.
Okay, I think I know what it is.
Yeah.
I won't say anything.
That's what we're doing.
Okay.
I did a poll on one of the groups I'm in, and that surprisingly beat out Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original.
Oh,
I was like, really? Okay.
All right.
So that's what we're doing next.
You don't
So,
want
thanks so much.
No, The Mummy with Tom Cruise? No?
Never. Never.
That means you have to watch it too, though.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know what Tyler's first time is, I have my best friend Tyler. He's probably seen, minus the 3 or 4 episodes that we've done of Tyler's first time, he's probably seen about 3 or 4 horror movies in his entire life. So he does not watch horror. So my goal is to get him to become a lover of horror.
Yeah.
So I show him a combination of classics, like we did The Thing, Nightmare on Elm Street. Our most recent episode, we did Friday the 13th. And a mixture of hidden gems. Like our first hidden gem we did was The Loved Ones from 2009.
That was good.
Which is a phenomenal movie.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
Yeah.
And he's liked all of them so far, so I'm on a roll.
The chick in that movie's hot, too.
Which one, Lola? That's what Tyler said, too. He's like, dude, if she asked me to prom, I'd say yes. She seems like a nice, pretty girl. I'm like, but she's a psychopath.
I know. That's the only bad thing about it.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, just hit me up whenever, and we'll do more of these in the future whenever, we get around to it. I won't be able to do it every week. But you should keep the content going. Keep it going every week, and they'll come in. The army, the Gorekeeper army will grow, my friend.
One day we'll get an army.
Yeah, slowly but surely.
All right. Thanks so much for coming on, and thanks for viewing, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.